to the part 3 of JavaScript basics. In this video, we are working with the objects. We'll create the object and define methods and properties, and we will use getters and setters to go for the prototype inheritance and encapsulation polymorphism. So let's create a simple object. So I'll just open the console here. Do one thing. Okay. Okay. So how we can create the object? This is called object literal. I'll show you. For this object literal, and uh, if you just run this object, see, you get the empty object. So this is about the don't worry about these properties, we will go through it later. And if you want to define a properties for this object, just I will make it as um, sorry, name equals name, age is 2. So this is how we create properties for the objects, and I will create a method. Get the name equals function of return this name. So this is how you write a function or a method in the object. We'll see how it runs. So obj, if you see obj, you got name, age, and the get name function. So if you just give obj dot name, it should give you the name. And if you give obj dot get name, if you call this function, you get the name. So this is how to create an object literal and the properties and the method for the object. So I'm just going very briefly in a short. Let's create a getter and setter for a object. It's same thing as what we done here. So so this is a getter. So just it's a get name. You will get the name. And now what I will do is I will create another function called set name function of. For this, I have to send a name. Let's say new name, and what I will do is I'll just do this dot name equals new name. I'm just assigning this value here to this. This is the context of the object. So just remember, this will be the context of this of the object which is called in. So let's see how it works. If I give object dot get name, I should get the name. Now what I will do is I will set the name, set name of new one. So we can, if I just run get name, we get the new one. So this has changed the value of the name when I called set name. So you can see get name was some name, and when I set the name to new one, again calling the get name gives the new one. So this is about the getters and setters. Let's go to the prototype. So for prototype, we will create a function constructor. So let's write emp equals function of function of name comma age. So what I will do is for this function, for let's see this, for this function for property name, I'll assign the name value, and for this age, I'll assign the age. So this is the function constructor. So what I will do now is I will just prototype is a property. Um, in JavaScript, there is a parent object with where all the other objects are inherited actually. So it has a property called prototype. You can just see here. If I write prototype, you get this property. So by this you can it's like inheriting or we can give another function. I'll just write a function called get name, and what I'll do is function of I'll just return this dot name. So I added a using prototype. I added a get name to the EMP function constructor. So we'll see how it works. So let's create object of EMP. So EMP name is the name and age is 20. So created object. So when I give obj.getName, this will return the name of the object what we have created here constructor. So this is how prototype works. So prototype is actually from the main object. So we can it's like we can use it for inheritance from the object actually. So that's about the getter setters prototype and inheritance. Same thing. You can use the prototype and uh, inherit the values, inherit the function. So let's go to the encapsulation. So in JavaScript, there is no what we see access modifiers or private public protected access modifiers. We have to create manually. Let's see how we can create. We'll just create a var new object. We'll create an object now. Just you can just observe here. What I'll do is I'll give this dot name equals public name. I'll just tell you how it works. And sorry. Sorry. So name is this is a public name. We'll do one thing. We will write the function constructor, then you can understand better. So I'll just give a employee equal just to use this. So I'll just use this of name is name and age is age, and I will write a okay. So now I will add the same get name prototype dot get name function this dot name. So I'll create the same object what I did there. It's a name of age of 22. So you can see now I will just write object of name to return the name. So it's a public in the nature. So you can just create object and you can access that. So instead of this, to make it a private, what I can do is do this. So giving this object, I can just give var leave age as public, and I will create a get name prototype. And if you see when I create an object and if I give object dot name, you get undefined. So it's a private, making it as a var makes it as a private object you cannot access. If you want to use that, you can just give emp dot get name. I think it's a get name. Sorry, there was some problem here. Sorry, it's obj created object here. It will return. There was some problem. Emp dot prototype. Just see once again. I did some mistake here. So I'll create this one and created a getName function. Then this dot name get object j h. There is some problem here. Just 2 minute. So hello guys, I got the issue. I forgot to add a function there. So we'll just give like a function, make it as a private variable. So let's pass name comma age. So just make it as a var variable by dot name equals name and this dot age equals age. And I will write a function here. This dot get name equals function of sorry, function return name. So this should work. Sorry. Let's create an object. New emp of this is a name and the age. So if you type the object, you'll get only function and the age, not the name because it's a private. So if I give object dot get name, you get the name. So this is how you can make the private variables or encapsulation in the JavaScript. So let's go for the polymorphism. So basically, there is no concept called like overriding. You can just use the prototype and create another function. But in JavaScript, there is no concept called overloading. You can achieve that, but writing a function, something like that. So overloading, what we can do is we can achieve writing a different function for overloading, um, like this. And write a name function here. So what I will do is a function um, find all console.log all find all, and it's just a basic example how you can achieve the um, overloading. So I'll just do function find by id. So just logging here. Assume there are two functions, one which finds everyone and one which finds by id. Find by id. Okay, and I will write another function called find. First, I want to show you something. Let's say console.log. There's a parameter called arguments. Yes, arguments. Yeah. So when I call find some parameters, like assume I'm sending a parameters a comma b. So you can see calling this function with some parameters, logging the arguments and getting a comma b. This is one of the built-in built-in argument or built-in type of the JavaScript. By using this, we will achieve overloading. So what I can do is, so I'll just try like this. Arguments have a length property. So if arguments it has length, then I will call find by id. Else, this is the implementation with changes. That's it. I'll find all. So you understood, I guess. If arguments which are pass some arguments, so definitely it will have length. So it will call the find by id function, or else it will call the find all function. So when I give find without any parameters, it will call find all. So because it doesn't have any length, so when I call with some parameters, assume a comma b, so it was calls the function find by id. So this is this. So this is actually overloading what we implemented here. same function name with different parameters. So this is about the polymorphism in object. Thank you guys. It was a bit long video. I'm really sorry. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.